All right, this is for the week 7 assignment for Speech 100. These are my two briefies. If you both could introduce yourselves real quick.
Hi, I'm Hilda. I'm Daniela.
All right. And I will be briefing you all on formal etiquette. I am Tyler Corbin. Picture this. You walk into a beautifully decorated house, into a dining room. You look onto the table and you see the place setting. You see as the picture glitters, as all the different utensils are spread over the table, you also fail to see your seat. You don't know where to sit. You don't know how to use the different utensils. What do you do in this situation? Being prepared for that is one of the most important things you can do in order to make yourself just as presentable as that place setting. I'm Tyler Corbin, and about a year ago, I worked as the protocol chief in Turkey. And during that time, I prepared different leaders for exactly those sort of situations. And in preparing them, I prepared them to be able to deliver important messages to important people, to be able to present themselves in a way that was befitting whatever their message was. There are many different parts of etiquette that go into a formal dining experience, and we will start with dress and appearance. I am taking all of this information off of AFI 34-1201, and to start with, knowing what to wear. Depending on how formal or how informal the situation is, you may simply be wearing smart casual, which doffs the blazer or the sport coat completely and simply has a collared shirt or a blouse for females. Or it may be a black tie experience, which would require a tuxedo, or at the very least a much more matched and tailored two-piece suit. And obviously for military personnel, that would be mess dress. Knowing the specific situation that you are in helps to show everybody else that you belong there. That dressing appropriately not only gives you that showing of your attention to detail, it also can build confidence so that you can be there and you can interact appropriately. In addition to dress and appearance, the next thing would be just small manners, small little matters of etiquette. When you sit down, you always want to sit up straight, of course. You want to keep your elbows off the table, and you want to use your napkin across your lap in order to catch crumbs. All of these little things, once again, show attention to detail, but also show that you have the foresight to learn enough about the intricacies of really the ritual that is a formal dining experience. At the very end of it, you want to take your knife and your fork and position them at the 2 o'clock position. This signals to waitstaff that you're done eating. All of these things built together help to further reinforce you as someone who is reliable and someone who is knowledgeable. Going further from that, the actual utensils themselves, as previously mentioned. You want to start from the outside in. You'll note that forks are on the left, knives and spoons are on the right. And you always start with your salad fork, that's all the way on the left, and your soup spoon, that's all the way on the right. As you move your way in, that being the general guide you can abide by, you'll also note that your bread is on the top left and your water is on the top right. You can easily remember that in case you have to set up a formal dining setting with the handy acronym of BMW. Not only being able to utilize the setup, again, showcasing your knowledge and showcasing that you pay attention to little things, but being able to prepare that also shows just how studious you are in terms of being able to present a richer experience. All of these things help to build up the sort of character and the sort of person that you are in the eyes of the people around you, because people take note of these things. In fact, to quote Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said. They will never forget how you make them feel, though. The final, and I would argue most important part of a formal dining experience is seating. Knowing precedence, knowing where people need to sit can pay them the respect and honor the important guests that you might have in a way that will make them more receptive to anything you're trying to voice, but will also make them more receptive to you in the future for anything you may need to get done. The main key that really helps everything else come to place is knowing who your host is and knowing that they sit at the head of the table. If you have a big long table, obviously that is the end of the table. And if it's a big round table, they can sit anywhere, and that dictates where the head of the table is. And after that, you want to figure out who your guest of honor is. That person will sit directly to the right of the host. After that, everything all depends ultimately on the host. Keep in mind that whether you're the host or not, there is oftentimes some sort of message being sent, whether it's a message of respect or it's a message of some other sort of intent. People need to talk to each other. Keeping this in mind, you can ultimately figure out where people need to sit while also abiding by the key rules of rank, of course, if this is a military setting, but also title, position. What does the person do? And how does that quote unquote outrank everybody else? Keeping all of that gives people the appropriate respect depending on that rank or title or position, and also allows for the host to figure out who gets to interact with who, which can be very helpful as well. All of that can be determined both using the AFI, or there's an online resource of the Maxwell Air Force Base Spouses Course Protocol Handbook, which you can find pretty easily. In closing, mastering fine dining skills isn't just about being fancy. It's about projecting a self-image that people will remember, that people will want to count on in the future. It is showing, as I've already said multiple times, the knowledgeability that you may have, the attention to detail that you may have, and also that you respect the occasion and you respect the people there with you. In closing, I think Franklin Roosevelt put it best when he said to be sincere, be brief, and be seated. And all of those things you can do as long as you know how to set up a formal dining experience appropriately. Thank you.